Hi, so we are on chapter 25 called Duckwad. There's the picture of the fish, Duckwad. Jim Dandy wants you, Stump relayed to Duke. Over that way. The troll waved toward the backside of the island, and Duke took off at a full gallop, no questions asked. He really admires Jim Dandy, so it looks like he'll do whatever he says. As soon as Duke was gone, Stump turned shy, but not so shy that he left me standing atop the sandbar all alone. He stood there petting the toy poodle and sneaking peeks at me. I suppose you're wondering about my brother, Stump said at last, cranky and defiant at once. The one Jim Dandy mentioned? I asked, feeling my way. That's right. Stump nodded slowly. Duckwad was his name. Oh, now I know why the name of the chapter is that way. And you can call him a fool if you want. I don't mind that. But all that other bad stuff that trolls say, that don't belong on him. That's not called for. What other stuff? What other? Like his cutting little trolls' hair off when they're asleep? Duckwad only got caught at that once. Said he'd never do it again. See? As far as I know, he kept that promise, except for maybe once or twice. Twice, maybe. And they said he tied fish tails together with string? Never did. I did that. He took the credit is all. See? And all that stuff about cheating at riddles? So what if he wasn't any good at 'em? Not every troll is. And so what if he liked to brush his teeth? Is that some kind of crime? So brushing his teeth was not a good thing for a troll. I see your point, I said. By then Stump had forgotten all about being shy and was crowding me. Duckwad wasn't anywhere near so bad, Stump thumped a foot down. He just never had any luck with them calendars. He got his months wrong. That's all, see? That's why he didn't go looking for our fathers in time. See what I'm saying? He thought March. It was April. See? He wasn't a coward. Are you saying he got turned into a human? I asked, picking my words carefully. Yes, Stump sobbed. That. It might work out for you, but it's worse than a lightning bug's up the nose for us. And a stain doesn't ever leave the family, ever. Worse than lightning bugs up the nose to be turned into a human. I love the vivid language in this book. Burned right in. But it's not fair for everybody to go around looking down their snouts at us because of some calendar Duckwad didn't have any luck with. Call that fair? Huh? Sounds like you miss him, I guessed. With that, Stump stopped talking altogether and turned his back to me, acting as if the poodle hair had landed in his eye. Even his poodle saw through that and gave his big, ugly snout a lick to cheer him up. Was probably crying. I don't miss it at all, Stump sniveled. Not with all the dirty tricks he played on me. I just wish he'd known how to read a calendar. That's all. What if he stood up to Bodacious Deepthink? I said. Isn't that supposed to bring him back? So they say, Stump shrugged hopelessly, but that will never happen. He's a human now and doesn't even know he needs to stand up to her. No. He's gone for good. But I didn't come here to boo-saw-hoo about Duckwad. That sounded like 2 or 3 lies rolled into one. While he was delivering them, he stretched his neck up as high as he could and checked all around us, while looking to make sure nobody's there. Lowering his voice, he whispered, I came to say that you better take your cousin home. He must have thought I was going to argue with him, because he wouldn't let me answer. Yes, home, he went on. That's what I came for, to tell you that. You mean Jim Dandy doesn't need Duke anymore? Jim Dandy can use all the Duke he can get, Stump warned, but your cousin might want to keep all the Duke he can. He might need it. Things around here might not be so safe for any Dukes, so make him go. He don't belong here, that's all. Bodacious Deepthink takes one sniff of your cousin and, I don't even want to think about it. I'm surprised you're telling me this. Me too, Stump said gloomily. Helping out is a weakness of mine. My own sweet missus is always saying it so, but nobody bothered to tell my brother what was right. He was all the time hunting up shortcuts. Nobody said, don't do that, or that, or that. Maybe if somebody had, he might not be in the fix he's in. See? So you got to make your cousin go home. Working in a bodacious deep thing's mind is worse than anything. Didn't I feel small then, for even thinking I couldn't trust Stump? I mean, I was trying to figure out a way to thank him, and also ask for a stone feather when a cannon blast stopped me cold. All of a sudden, Stump could hardly catch a breath, and when he did manage to say something, his voice was raspy and low. Don't say nothing on me, he begged. Please? Of course the blast hadn't been from a cannon, but from Biz. Sneezing. Clomping up to us, he planted his torch in the sand and said to Stump in a rushed squeak, Jim Dandy wants you, and that star hound of yours. He thinks he's onto something. Off that way. And Biz pointed toward the back of the sandbar, the same place Stump had just sent Duke. What's going on? Chapter 26. King Biz Mossbottom. Is he the king? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Biz Grunt squeaked. There wasn't much I could say, since I was staring straight at him. My loss of voice suited Biz fine, though, for he wasn't in the mood to talk. I'll tell you what you're looking at, Biz says airily. Straightening up, he placed one foot slightly forward and tucked a hand behind his back. You're looking at the future king of the river trolls, King Biz Mossbottom the First. He lifted his chin in a noble pose. I suppose that surprises you. Not at all, I answered, quick as I could manage. You're lying, Biz squeaked. I've never met one of you things from Blue Wing that is any good at lying. If he was trying to pick a fight, he was on his own. In my politest voice, I said, Sounds right. How are you going to become king? Simple, by bringing back our fathers, all of them. I nodded to show that I was keeping up with him so far. Step 1 is getting rid of your cousin, Biz squeaked. Once he's gone, Jim Dandy will get serious about raiding his mother's purse for a silver dollar. There's still time to do the things the way they're supposed to be done. Makes sense to me, I agreed. How are you going to shake Duke? I'm not. You are. So this is the second troll that's trying to get her to get Duke out of here. If I send him packing, Jim Dandy will get all sulky and won't be worth anything. He learned all about the sulks from that wife of his. Fancy leech liquor. Real mucky mucks, those leech lickers. But as much as I hate to say it, I may need Jim Dandy's big mouth to do some talking before it's all done. What makes you think my... Sorry. What makes you think my cousin will listen to me? Easy, Biz predicted. Tell him that I said I will turn him into stone the first chance I get. That ought to help, I granted. Clearing my throat, I managed to add, If you don't mind my asking, what about the people you've already turned to stone? When are you planning to undo them? After we get our lucky crickets, he said. There'll be plenty of time for that. How do I know you'll do it? I'm giving you the word of a soon-to-be king, Biz squeaked, outraged. Not enough, I bluffed. All right, Biz grumbled, squeaked, backing off. I'll give you something that will prove I mean business. Turning to the stuff that Duke and I had lugged to the top of the sandbar, Biz dug out of his alligator bag and rummaged around inside it. A greenish glow seeped out of the bag, and there may have been a singing inside the bag, too. Although it was faint, it could have been coins or necklaces or jingling against each other. Try as I might, I couldn't manage to peek over Biz's shoulder to see if the stone feather was in there. Whatever that bag held, there was a lot of it. None of it was packed too neatly either, not the way Biz was rooting around and gibbering. It's got to be in here. And who threw that in? And no, not you. And all the time, squeak of his voice got higher and higher and tighter, until at last he found what he was looking for. He found what he was wanted and cried out in an extra high, relieved voice, "Here!" With both hands he lifted out a crown which gently sat upon his head. "I had made this for my coronation," he trumpeted. "It's something," I acknowledged, and it was. 3 frog skins stood up on its front, covered in mold and slime that made me wrinkle my nose. Dripping Spanish moss was draped over their shoulders like royal robes. They were standing on a headband made from skin that had once been cozy diamond-backed rattlesnake. The snake's rattles hung down between Biz's orange eyes, which were blazing. That is not the kind of crown that I was imagining, but it must be a great crown for a troll. "You can hold on to this," Biz decreed, "as collateral. Deal?" "Deal," I echoed. Lifting the crown off, Biz pushed down on its metal tine and said something that sounded sort of like a sneeze and sort of like saying, "Chicken noodle soup," real fast. In a twinkling, the crown shrank down to ring size, so it made it really small. "Put out your hand," Biz ordered. I did, and he slid the crown ring on the middle finger of my left hand. That was something magic-y, wasn't it? It fit snugly and felt alive, turning this way and that as if the frogs were trying to see what was going on. "You do your part," Biz squeaked, pledged, "and I'll do mine." "What if I can't convince Duke?" I asked, squeaking a bit myself. He can be awfully stubborn. "Then I'll want my crown back." He made it sound as though he'd take my finger, too. With that, Biz shoved me toward where I'd last seen Duke. I didn't get far, though barely over the first dune. Someone hiding on the back side of it tripped me. When I looked up, I came face to face with the grinning Jim Dandy. "Gave you his crown, did he?" Uh-oh, Jim Dandy was spying. All right, so they're all trying to get, well, 2 of them are trying to get Claire to get Duke out of there. Now, looks like Jim Dandy in our next chapter. Let's get the picture. Looks like now he's trying to talk to Claire. I wonder what he's got to say. It says Jim Dandy, Eel Tongue. So we're finding out their names. Like, what was Stump's leech liquor? Ooh. Okay, stay tuned.